And gentlemen, welcome back to another video. So in this video I'm going to show you how you could use setup esp-idf in your nixos system. So as you've seen in the previous video, I've actually shown you how you could do that in Arch Linux, and it was very fragile. There was a lot of mismatches and dependencies of Python and all sorts of craziness, and like my system was getting really bloated and so on, and it's not very reproducible, and there's just a lot of steps that you could get wrong, and yeah, it's just such a mess. Now, other than that, you have two routes basically. You have either Docker or Podman, which is basically creating a container and putting that stuff there, or you have nixos, which you get basically the benefit of both. So let me show you how that works. All right, so I'm just gonna take this URL and I'm gonna come here. I'm gonna say git clone, boom, right? Now, let me show you one thing. If I run idf.py, nothing. Ninja, nothing. CMake, nothing. GCC, nothing. What else? I guess Clang, nothing. GDB, nothing. So, none of that. There's no tool right here, okay? But right now, if I go to CD, right, and then I'll go inside of my nixos esp-idf template, and v is blocked. So, I'm going to say dir and v, allow. And after that, what's going to happen is that it would go ahead and download all the stuff that you're going to need to actually deal with esp-idf. Everything. Right now, if I say idf.py -- help, there you go. If you say cmake, there you go. And even the cmake of esp-idf itself. clangd, boom. So as you can see, expressive clangd version. So the exact version that you need with the exact target with the exact everything, right? So the only thing of obviously that this doesn't contain is VS Code or any other IDE. So in my case, it's VS Code. And if I run VS Code right here and look at the magic. Now, obviously this would take a little while for it to download everything at the start. But after that, you know, any project that you open that needs esp-idf environment, it would quickly show up, just like what you see here. All right, so let's see now. We don't need any of this crap right here. How the heck do you, I don't know. Anyways, so what we're gonna do here, let's just say terminal, right? And what we're gonna do is basically idf.py, and we're gonna flash this. There you go. So as you can see, even in VS Code, it pretty much just like straight up set up all the dependencies that I need, you know, from the Nix shell. It's pretty straightforward. And I also have some VS Code files right here that would make like set up the clangd for you and so on. So this is the extensions that you're gonna need for this to work. You're going to need clangd, you're going to need dir and v, and if you want air lengths, not really required. And if you also, actually it's better to have cmake tools too, but yeah. So as you can see right now, it just got flashed, that program got flashed into my thing, right? So it's really this simple pretty much. Now if I actually say idf.py monitor, you could see right now my chip, my esp-idf chip is actually running the program. So as you can see, heartbeat every half, you know, seconds. And this is the program. It's very simple. This is just meant to be your starting point, kind of, right? So here we're just including splog and FreeRTOS, right? And then we're creating a tag. This could be any tag really. You could call it whichever you want. And here's our app main. So app main is basically a task that is called by FreeRTOS, and it basically spawned by FreeRTOS, right? And it's kind of like our main essentially. Here we take our first tick count, and after that we go into an infinite loop, because we should never go outside of this app main task. Otherwise, you know, our chip would just block. So what we're doing here is splog_info tag heartbeat, right? You could of course log in anything here, and then here we task delay until basically 500 milliseconds. So essentially this kind of delays is working with ticks, but here we use this kind of macro to turn like ticks to milliseconds to ticks, right? But yeah. And this task delay interval basically helps us to make sure that it happens, you know, in a like every 500 milliseconds exactly, like the same exact frequency. There's no you know, drift or whatever, because you could actually say like v-task delay, you know, and you could have said like PD milliseconds to tick 500 milliseconds, but it could drift, right? Because you're not taking into account the older value. So as you can see here, delay until actually like, you know, kind of like overrides this t value every time. But either way, so that's not the only thing that we have set up here. I also had set up a debug server.sh command right here, and obviously you gotta basically change it to instead of C6, you gotta, you know, so if you have, let's say, P4 or something, then change it here. Other than that, what you're gonna do is /debug server.sh, and now you got a GDB server up and running in your chip. So now we're gonna create a new terminal, and what we're gonna do is idf.py gdb, and look at that. Right, so let me just make this up a bit, right? And let's see what we got. So let's, I guess, layout next. Let's run, I believe. Try run, yeah. Oh, does not support run. Continue. That's strange. Hold on a second. Let's try again. That's very strange. Okay, there you go. Okay, so as you can see right now, I'm on GDB. So let's say layout next, layout next, layout next, and layout next. Oh my god, I should have just said enter actually, but yeah. So here we could say like next t, there you go. Now we could basically print what is t right now. T is currently 0. So what we could say is, we could say breakpoint. So let's say B, I believe. There you go. So we have added a breakpoint right here. Now let's just continue by saying C. And as you can see, we have continued right now. If we print again T, as you can see, it's 50. If we continue again and print T, it's 100, and so on. Now, if we want to go one step, then we could say next. And there you go. That's the next step. And again. And you're gonna basically keep on doing this. And as you can see, this is how you debug, right? In the terminal using GDB. You could even go inside of this function by saying S and enter. And then we're gonna say N for next. And then we could see what FreeRTOS is doing actually for this delay until. Really? So by the way, if you just press enter without saying like N or S or whatever, it's just gonna repeat the previous action that you have just done essentially. And as you can see right here, this is how FreeRTOS actually do or like implement the delay, right? If you want to like go inside of some sort of API call, then you gotta say S instead for stepping, and there you go. Right? And then N for next, and then we could just keep on repeating next, and so on. And you could even see the PC here, the what is it called? God damn, I forgot the name. The pointer counter, or I really do not remember. Either way. So as you can see, it works perfectly fine. Alright, so that was it, guys. Well, actually, let me show you my setup of VS Code, and you also need some extra stuff other than that. Now, obviously, you don't really have to use VS Code, but this template is really dedicated to VS Code, pretty much. Okay, so let me show you. I'm gonna go to my config real quick here and show you everything right there. Now, this is another thing that is nice about nixos. I could show you exactly all my configuration instead of, you know, I have to redo my whole system and then show you step by step and hope that I didn't miss any stuff along the way. Anyways, do you want to save the changes you made? No need. Okay. So this is my VS Code settings, though obviously you don't have to have this exact settings. The only things that is good to have is, let's see, maybe CMake configure on open, though not required, but this one, DRAM restart automatic, I think. Other than that, is there anything else? Yeah, that's pretty much it in terms of the VS Code settings. Now this is the extensions. Now obviously I'm using Home Manager essentially here, but you don't have to again. Alright, so this one is important. You gotta make sure that you have drnv installed, so enable equal to true, and nix drnv.enable equal to true. So what drnv basically does is that when you enter that directory that have the nvrc, it would go ahead and like execute that shell.nix file. Did I actually show you that shell.nix file? Hold on a second. I probably didn't actually. Let me show you. So when you enter, what the heck? That's strange. Do I have to like drnv allow or something, or what again? Strange. Anyways, so what we're gonna say here is we could go inside of shell.nix. So this is kind of like the thing that is, it's using this repo right here. Thanks to this guy, he's doing most of the work of setting up, you know, the esp32 stuff. So you could see basically everything right here. But yeah, other than that, yeah, that's pretty much it. And .nvrc here, use nix. And yeah, that's pretty much it. And settings.json, and here I'm just fixing clingd and making sure that it's getting the compile commands directory, and then the query driver. So essentially clingd is going to try to use clang, which is not exactly the compiler that we're using here. So here we're just telling it to ask the RISC-V compiler of GCC to tell it, you know, what includes it needs, etc., etc. And here the header insertion is very annoying, so I'm just removing it, right? The automatic ones essentially. And yeah, that's basically it. Now let's go back to the config and see if I missed anything. Yeah, okay, let's go to configuration.nix. Very much good here. Okay, so this one is actually very important, right? So make sure to add udev extra rules here for Espressif USB GTAG serial debug unit. So this guy right here, this is what gives the, essentially gives you the permission to, you know, flash your device and access your ESP32 device, right? And it gives the permission to this group dial out. So you gotta make sure that your user actually have the dial out, you know, group essentially. Now, if you want to find that, you could just look for OpenOCD ESP32 contrib. And if you go here and find contrib here, and open OCD rules and Control F and look for ESP. Now as you can see, this is the Espressif GTAG serial debug units, though here it's the group is plugged in by the way, so make sure to replace it. But yeah, and that was it guys for this video. Thank you all for watching and see you in the next one. Goodbye everyone.